Welcome back. All right. My name's Mike,
Jav.
and we are the co-founders of Scaling Edge. And today we bring to you the very first episode of our new podcast, the Future Proof Business Show. All right. We're back, man. How's it feel to be back, bro?
Yeah, I like making content, so it's good, man. And I think that sometimes there's different ways to make content, different ways for people to consume. Some people like to listen, so you might listen to this on Spotify or Apple or whatever. So we got to give you the value in multiple ways, multiple flavors.
That's it. So yeah, I'm happy, excited as well because I miss the podcast style of content. I like it. It's natural. It flows, and I feel like because of the nature of changing our business, we was a little bit limited with what we was talking about and could talk about, where we were just serving the fitness industry and fitness professionals. Now we can dive into a whole range of topics and just give a whole range of value, right? So let's kick it off without further ado. We're going to get into some trending stuff, man. The culture pulse, as we call it. So the first thing, I'm going to present a stat and I'm going to see what Jab's got to say about this one, right? So Unilever, which is a very infamous company with a lot of, political stuff and whatever.
Didn't they make the COVID vaccine?
I don't even know that.
No, I'm pretty sure they were involved in.
Yes. They're involved in a
vaccine.
lot. I was actually thinking more about Burna Boy made a song about it, and they was all like involved in the acquisition of Nigeria. It's crazy, but I know they make Persil. They own loads of brands.
Yeah.
But basically, they've just decided that 50% of their marketing now is going to go towards social media with an influencer first strategy.
At UGC.
Yeah, it could be UGC, it could be actual. I think they're more going towards trusted like content creators or influencers who've already got a brand. So, what's your thoughts on that, man?
I think it's natural. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. I think because they're not plastered as like the brand for like all the companies that they own, they haven't probably needed to do it.
Yeah.
Because they're not like, you think of Persil, you don't really think of Unilever. Like, you might not know that. You might not notice that it says Unilever on the packet.
No, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't, unless you're looking.
They haven't really needed to be front facing.
But I think they might. That might be what it is. I think they might be. Maybe it's about the collection of all their businesses, and now maybe they manage the marketing budget, and they're gonna now allocate 50
for those business.
I believe
Okay.
That's what it's more.
Then that makes sense, man. Because
but influencer first, though. Influencer first. So influencer first, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, is just using an influencer. It could be a celebrity, it could be someone who's just amassed a great following on social media and using them, paying them to market your stuff.
But we've seen a lot of companies use micro influencers over the last couple of years.
Yep.
Big companies, they use like people with smaller audiences but highly engaged audiences. Some companies don't really like using the super big influencers because they might have 1 million followers, but let's say 40% of those followers are in a third world country that can't afford their services. So they're like,
we've been through that. We know.
Yeah.
That.
So
People like that.
I think that I'm not surprised by that, but also it's more validation, more confirmation of the shift that everything is social. Businesses have to go social.
Yeah.
I think if you run a business, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand, like you should still go social. And you know the guy who runs, I can't believe I don't know his name, the guy who runs Gymshark, Ben
Francis,
something, okay?
Ben Francis.
He made a video the other day, well, not the other day, I must have seen it like 2 months ago, and he was talking about like not every business needs a personal brand, and he was saying that, I didn't know he was the owner of Gymshark. Gymshark kind of blew up before he started posting and he started to build his personal brand, and he was explaining that like you don't need a personal brand. He said it helps, but he was like, if you're a business brand, use people that already have a brand. That's kind of how Gymshark was.
Exactly what they did.
Right?
That was their main.
So that don't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that's powerful what you're saying. Yeah, the influencer thing. I've been heavy on that for a minute.
Yeah, you have. You was kind of doing that from early when you was coaching. You was kind of utilizing people with a bigger audience.
Yeah, I think that it's just a trust factor, and I don't know what marketing book I read where it mentioned that if someone sees somebody who they recognize in an advert, they're more likely to stop and scroll. And it actually happened to me the other day. I was watching something, I saw like an ad, and the ad contained somebody that was just like from a show or something like that, just someone, not even a big influencer like that. And I stopped and watched it more so because of that person. It's just, yeah, it's a way to connect, because we know that, you know, paid advertising is generally, it's cold. You're landing on someone's page
That don't know you.
Yeah, that doesn't know you, hasn't really given you permission to. So if they see something more familiar, and that's the reason why companies like Nike, who doesn't know Nike, right? But they still will pay Cristiano Ronaldo millions, tens of millions, or whoever to promote their stuff.
Trust in it. Trust.
It's just that trust.
But then here's the thing, yeah. Here's when things get techie when you use influencers, and it's basically you're relying on them to have a good, squeaky clean image. Because I just listened to you. I was listening to Jonathan Majors on the way.
Gee.
I was listening to, because you know he's on this. I listened to that the day before. But you know he's on the redemption tour right now, isn't it? He's doing the whole podcast and getting his name clear. Because he's got the new movie that's just come out.
Yeah.
So, but then, so obviously that voice note's come out, which is just ruined him again. But he's still on the redemption tour, yeah. And he was even saying he did a interview with the Breakfast Club this morning, and he was saying that like even the association, Megan Good, she had like endorsement deals cut off from her, not getting invited. She had like you know, obviously they get invited to like red carpet stuff.
Of course.
All her invites got rescinded, blah blah blah, while the case was going on, and she wasn't even the one.
Of course,
it wasn't her case.
Of course.
But obviously she's associated with him.
Yeah, of course.
So the one thing with the influencer thing is that like the influencers have to have, or they have to align with your morals and ethics and So that's the one thing where if you don't have someone that's on brand, it can obviously mess you up.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, 100%. That's the thing. It may be risky to over leverage with one, but I think only like the top companies do that. Like even with Gymshark, they use so many micro influencers, and that blew them up. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on that. So whatever business you are, obviously them dedicating 50% of their budget. Now, that's gonna be in the hundreds of millions, right?
If not billions.
Yeah, if not billions. For them dedicating that much of their budget to social media, it just shows that. Whereas you might just want to go and I've been in this position as well, where you just think, all right, just do the outreach, just do the paid ads, just do the aggressive, just going for it sort of stuff. You have to work on the social media and the content stuff. We can't ignore it, as you said. And in influencer marketing, I have also heard a case study of a company. They are basically competitors for MyFitnessPal, and they were doing $1 million a month as of, I think this was like 4 months ago that I was looking at it, and they didn't use not one paid ad. They've only used influencer marketing and just paying them like cost per mint. They just had it nailed down to like a science, and they will just agree these deals with these influencers, and they scaled up like that. So that's a big one. One more thing. So companies implementing AI-driven product recommendations, right? So it's generally like e-commerce, have observed a 25% increase, right, in their revenue. Okay, highlighting the benefits of using AI in customer experience and sales and stuff like that. So more like the journey of someone buying. So people have put in, you know, maybe like a little recommendation, like the AI can give you the quote or recommend it, or even, you know, maybe just answer your questions. They're seeing a 25% revenue. What do you think of that?
Again, I think you kind of seen it introduced without even knowing, because there's times where now like everything, even all the chatbots, all the customer service, it's all AI.
Yeah.
Until you request, I need to speak to a human. Like, yeah. So I'm not surprised by that, but also it's more efficient, isn't it? If you, and they probably, you know, when you go on the browser, someone's watching you, bro. So they're probably seeing what you clicked on. Yeah. Then they pop up, oh, you know what? This probably might be the best for you. So yeah. I think if you do have e-commerce, and there's obviously ways you can implement this in a service-based business, if it's going to make you more money, then go for it. I think you have to, there's obviously like some training behind it. There's a system behind it. Yeah. And I think with the AI, a lot of people they're worried about like what it can do, but if you know how to use it, that's 25% more revenue that can go into other areas of the business now, so you can continue to grow. So, yeah, man. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, man. I think AI is just it's crazy, man. The way it's growing, the new use cases all the time, the amount of money that people are just shifting into it. I heard a lot of companies are getting like big funding now that are like AI focused. So I think even the littlest additions of AI in your business can do a load of good, completely change the landscape. I think especially businesses that are just in any type of traditional model or a bit old school of how they do their thing. You should, even if you got to pay for the AI consultation. Do you know what I mean? Reach out to us, whatever you want to do. Go on ChatGPT, have a chat, but just find out where you might be missing out on implementing AI, because those 25% increase is a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and that's across the market.
I literally watched a video like a month ago, and the guy basically explained how he implements AI. And basically, what he said was he got all his SOPs and stuff like that for his business. He uploaded it all to ChatGPT, and he just asked ChatGPT, "Can you explain to me which part of this I could automate or delegate to AI, and what softwares and systems do you recommend for each part of this process?" Then basically, ChatGPT spat out literally everything that he could automate or integrate AI into, and he said that it saved him like 8 hours of work per week and helped move one of his team members from like the role they were doing into something else which he needed more. So the thing is, people don't know how to do that though. Like, people wouldn't think to use ChatGPT to even like give you a guide. And there's another video about this guy. He was just more having like not health problems, but he wanted to like sleep better, optimize his thing better. But he had a calendar. You know, like how we like to delegate. We like to like block out a calendar with what we like to do. He uploaded his calendar and asked ChatGPT, "How would you optimize this to help me get like more sleep, more energy, and recover better?"
Yeah.
And ChatGPT like literally redone his schedule for him based on like all his data and stuff, which made me think, rah, some people got the Whoop band or the Aura ring. You could probably upload your data and get ChatGPT to analyze that for you as well.
Oh, 100%. I've done it before because
Okay.
Whoop gives you an assessment report every month.
Okay.
And a lot of times, like even as a ex-fitness professional, some of the things that you're sending me is that I don't really familiar with, like tracking the metric of this thing, because Whoop is very, very specific.
Yeah.
So I have done that before. Just put the document PDF straight into ChatGPT, but now Whoop even has ChatGPT inside it.
Inside it. Okay. Yeah.
Ask coach, so you just ask it. Oh, what does that mean? Because it's
Okay.
it's mad. Listen. To round up, like AI is taking over the world, man, and I just think that one thing I would just mention is we need to just keep an eye on the ethicality of AI, and whenever those questions are being raised, I'm gonna be same way I was very early in adopting and looking at it. I'm gonna be early in supporting that, because a lot's going on in the world right now. Business, tax, money. You got Donald Trump over there. You got this guy over the big guy over here. Don't only say the big guy, but Keir Starmer or whatever his name is over here. So I think with all of that and the tension around the world, the economy, and then the AI coming in and being able to eventually take over like most people's jobs, we got to kind of look at leading the future. And I heard someone say a long time ago that it's not about, we're going into a world where it's how you think that's going to make you successful. There's nothing you can do that's going to, you know what I mean? Even you got the 3D printed houses now, right? They're doing a lot of that. You're going to have robots that can lift a ton of bricks on their own, like, so they don't even really need. And this stuff is not far off, man. It's not as far off as we think. So we're in a place where you think what you think is what's going to grow you, your business, make you successful. Just like the guy that you mentioned who thought, oh, why don't I just put in all my SOP? There you go,
Yeah, it's true.
So with that said, a practical tip that we want to give, and we're going to do this every single episode, is for today, an AI qualification agent, okay? This is one of the first little mini solutions that we built, and we're just going to basically break down how to build it in your own business for whatever you do. and I hand it over to Jav as he actually built that first. Just to give a small diagram.
This one's the easiest one. So all of you have a sales process, I would hope. And before someone can get on a call with you, they probably got to fill out some type of form or something like that. So essentially what you want to try and do is ask the most important questions that you would need to know, whether it's how much revenue do you have, your company website, your social media profile, annual revenue, so on and so forth, right? And then what you want to do is you're going to create a series of like criteria for your ideal client. And you basically, do you want me to give them the actual...
Yeah.
Basically, what you're going to do here is with this criteria, you can get ChatGPT to optimize it. So I spit it out to ChatGPT and I'm like, please create a scoring system based on XYZ. And that's based on your criteria. It's going to give you a scoring system. Then you're going to connect your form to Zapier. Every time someone books a call in Zapier, it's going to go straight to ChatGPT now, because in Zapier, you're going to have the form, then OpenAI, and you're going to give it the prompt that we just created for the criteria. Then you're going to connect the OpenAI to the Slack or whatever communication channel you use every time you get a call booked. Then what that does is, obviously the call comes in, it goes to Zapier spits it to OpenAI/ChatGPT. It then reads your form, and then it spits out a score rating plus like a little blurb about the person, their website, their annual revenue, and is it worth taking the call? Do we rate the lead good or bad? Or the call booking good or bad? And then obviously you have that in Slack, you can have it in a Google Sheet as well. And then you decide what you want to do from there. You know, if you want to take calls with everybody, that's up to you. But at least now you've got like a simple system where lead comes in, qualifies them, you can make a decision. We could take it a few steps further. You could have, if the client is below certain criteria, cancel the call. Or if it's in the middle, personally notify me and I will make an assessment. So then you got like two, like a fail-safe system.
Yep.
So you could add that step to the flow on Zapier. We're getting a bit technical here, but those are the things you can do with AI. And actually, I made it sound technical. It's actually quite easy. It's quite simple. Once you get it done, it's like it's easy. Yeah. So, and there's probably YouTube videos that can show you how to do it. Yeah. We probably might make one. So
yeah, we'll put it in we'll either link the video of how to do it in. No, we will link it on the screen because that will take you to our other channel that's more tutorial based. And then we'll even put the prompts that we use in the description. We're not playing here. We're gonna be the go-to for you growing and future-proofing your business. So, you know, as much as a lot of people are going to charge you for this type of game, we're going to give you that game. All right, let's get into it. So, why most people's businesses model won't survive 3 years, right? Boy, unless they do this, okay? So, business is changing at a fast rate. We see it all the time, people changing, people switching over. And, you know, it's kind of what I talked about already. Like, AI's taking over a bunch of roles. I can't remember who it was. Was it Amazon or something that cut like 100,000, like thousands or 100 jobs? It was somebody recently. I'll go get the stats. I'll put it on.
Klarna.
I heard that. Yes, I heard that it was Klarna. I didn't know why they had so many people in the first place. I think they had like 300 people. They cut / 300 people, but still. Yeah, man, it's taking so many. Like, I'll give you an example, yeah? I was watching, you know AU Vodka?
Yeah.
Have you seen their YouTube content?
No, I didn't even know they made YouTube content.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
What do they make content about?
It's just like how they started the company, what they do. Because it's basically started by two guys. And they basically had the idea, all of that stuff. And then they produced it themselves. Like, kind of, they were doing a lot of it manually. And then they got Charlie Sloth involved. They sent him a DM message, and then he was on it because they literally sent him pictures of the bottle done and themselves, like, so he got on board, and that's how they started scaling with all the influencers and everything like that. So I say that to say their YouTube, they just document that, and their last video, they built a mad HQ. It's like the builders painted in gold. We go in, it's like they got like a 24 karat gold bench. Like, it's mad. It's literally mad. But I say that and I watched it and I thought, this is flipping nice. But all these employees that you've built this HQ for, like, what if they're not really needed in a couple of years' time?
Yeah.
What if you don't, you know? So it's like, hopefully, you would like to keep people on, and we just want to keep that human element and not replace everybody by robots. But I think that AI is taking over a lot of businesses, and for business owners, it's always been about flexibility anyway, right? So, why would you say that a business? What scenario would you give whereby a business wouldn't make it in 3 years? Like right now, a couple of scenarios maybe, and let's get into like how they can future proof their business.
I think that you know what it is, yeah. It's not that they won't make it doing the process that they're doing now. It's it's actually that they're gonna get beaten by the competition so bad that they're gonna lose revenue, so they won't be sustainable anymore. Because the other businesses will be utilizing AI the right way.
It's a good
So
analogy.
it's not necessarily like, oh, if you're doing this process this way and it's manual and it's slow, like that's not that is what's gonna kill businesses, but like that in itself isn't killing the business. What's killing the businesses moving forward is that their competition are gonna be using it, and they're gonna make things more efficient. They're gonna make processes more efficient. That's why, like, there's a guy, he makes a lot of YouTube content, and he makes a good point about like the business owners that are in Dubai. They've got a head start, right? Because even though they may not have better systems, they can outmarket you because they pay less tax, for example. So he uses that analogy of like, well, you might have a better thing than me, but I can spend more advertising dollars than you, so I can take up more of the market share. It's sort of like that, but from an AI perspective.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that they can't compete or they're going to lose out, but if they don't adapt,
Yeah, someone will.
they're going to get beaten by the more efficient company. Like you just made a great example, the e-commerce store.
Yeah.
If we got the same e-commerce store, but you've got AI product suggestions and I've just got a manual chatbot or just a WhatsApp number at the bottom of the site,
Yeah.
who's going to capture more?
The leads, yeah, me.
So if that keeps happening and the competition keeps beating me, eventually one's going to tank. And this is a competitive game. This is the wild, wild west. So, only the strong survive. Just so yeah, man, that's what I see. I don't know what you see.
Yeah, no, exactly that, to be fair. But what about another thing? What about content? Because we talk about that less, but that is a big part of what we do and encourage as well.
Yeah.
So what about those who don't do content? Does everyone need to do content? What's your thoughts on that side?
Does everyone need to do content?
Yeah.
I think yes. I think even you know what I say yes, because even the biggest businesses in the world do content. So that must tell me something. Like McDonald's do content, Nike do content, Adidas do content. Amazon do content. Like everyone does content in some capacity.
Yeah.
Whether it's email, YouTube, Instagram.
And they always have when you think about it. When you think about what are adverts that you watch,
it's content, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that the businesses that are currently somehow surviving without content, maybe the face-to-face businesses that just their local area, bro. There's the death of the high street, bro. We're seeing it, bro. Everywhere I go, how many shops do you see boarded up or closed down?
especially in London, apparently.
Bro, it's getting crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that if you do run a business, especially a face-to-face business, content is one of the things that can help you.
Competitive edge.
Exactly, competitive edge. And then now the thing is, how is AI integrated in that? How are companies using AI for that?
That was gonna be even one of my topics, because actually, a lot of people are using, like, to give you some context, a lot of content creators that were already doing content are like, tripling, quadrupling their revenue just because now they're using AI to do it. So imagine if you were someone who made YouTube videos go viral manually to make money. They're now, just doing it at turbo because they can use AI. So it's what you said. That's a great point. There's no excuse to not do content now because it's actually so easy. And a lot of businesses are popping up every day in models and softwares to help you post content frequently. So I think, like, content, like, I get it can be hard, it can be frustrating, you might not know what to do. I think if you can just get some good advice or guidance either from ChatGPT or, people like us or whoever, you can be on your way. You can just like do it. And I'll give you the example. Today I spoke to someone who does blinds, right? He does blinds for houses. Got a good business. Business been going for many years. And I go on his Instagram and it's just like just blinds. You know what I mean? It's just pictures of blinds, right? And then I just do a little experiment and I type in blinds on Instagram and I see another person up Liverpool who's got like 15,000 followers. The founders making content. They got a few influencers. Imagine you got influencer with blinds, right? And who do you think is probably doing more revenue?
Yeah.
The other guy with the page, right?
Yeah.
So
And that's like a more traditional business model, right?
that's super true. You would have never thought there's any way to do anything about blinds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of examples of that. So, all right, let's get into our roadmap of how to future-proof your business. We'll start with personal brand. Can't be copied. Personal brand can't be copied. So it's like it is the competitive edge. It is the competitive edge. What would you say about personal brand and why we even suggest that with our clients?
Yeah, I just think that it's your story. No one can tell your story. No one can be you. No one can do what you do. So I think it's how you tell that story. And a lot of YouTube did a report on like the type of content that's worked in 2024 from all their data. Obviously, like I think over 1 million YouTube videos are posted a day or a week, something crazy like that.
Crazy.
And basically, in the report, they kind of summarized a few things, but one of the things that help videos go viral and get more engagement is like emotional led topics, telling personal stories and journeys. And it's actually less on the quality of the content, but more on the storytelling and the vulnerability of whoever's making the content. So yeah, I think especially a personal brand, like the way I say it is like, no one can be you, innit? No matter how much, some people copy each other and there's a lot of things I've been seeing recently where people have been copying each other word for word. Yeah, I've seen 2 videos recently, but anyway, that's another story. But I feel like no one can be you, innit?
Yeah,
so that's kind of one thing that kind of gets overlooked.
That's step one in any business model, because again, if you have the 2 blind companies, you both have the same amount of reviews. You may even have more, but they've got this personal element to them that when the person searches or go to their social media, they just build a connection quicker and then it builds trust. 2 lead generation systems, right? 1 AI powered and 1 paid ad system. That's what I think most, if not all, businesses should have. What would you say to someone who's going to argue that and say, I don't need AI, I don't need paid ads? What do you say?
I think it does depend what they do, but ultimately, if they want to, sometimes in life, bro, you got 2 choices in it. There's 2 boats you can get on, bro. You can get on the slow boat or the fast boat. And I want to get on the fast boat 9 times out of 10, bro. I don't want to be in the slow boat. So if you want to be in the slow boat and continue doing things in the way you're doing it, then you can ignore paid advertising, you can ignore AI and AI outreach strategies. You can continue doing things manually. Like I spoke to a guy who he literally like walks down the high street and like goes into businesses to discuss shooting content for them. And I'm like, bro, like, so you're like basically doing like door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, how much success? None. So I'm like, bro, what? Like, you're not making the money doing that. Like, yeah, that's just what I know. I like the traditional element. Like, bro, traditionally broke. That's cool for you, bro, not for me. So like, a lot of people, they still kind of they're resistant to it. What do you think?
Yeah. No, that's crazy. That's you gotta get used to it. They gotta jump in. I get it. Like you've done something the same way all the time, but yeah, 1 AI powered, which could be outreach generally, which could be done through LinkedIn, and all of these things was like had an element of AI before. So we used to use Dripify, all of these things that will send automated messages or whatever through LinkedIn and stuff like that. And I think they're all just going to get more powerful. We build personalized ones for people now that can, send personalized messages and outreach. So I think using AI for outreach is a game changer, because even if you have a sales team, you can get the sales team working more efficiently or doing less or using their time more efficiently by having the AI that does it. And then paid ads is, like you said, it's the fast boat. It's just spread out the name more quicker, just quicker. So
Yeah,
100%, 100%. And the last thing for most companies would be, I think most, would be some form of intense lead qualification and or arrangement using AI. I think like most companies now could benefit from just an AI that just qualifies and just filters out their leads a bit more. I think HubSpot have been doing that or had some element of that for a while, where filters through the leads that you have. But a lot of companies are either running ads already or doing whatever outreach or something. But if you could just qualify the leads a bit more, filter it through any type of AI system, it saves you time.
yeah. And I think like as marketers and people that want to get into paid marketing, sometimes, like we're guilty of it as well, is like we can really talk about, I got 100 leads.
Yeah.
But the real question is, out of those 100 leads, how many are good leads?
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, it's good to be able to know you can generate 100 leads. I actually think you need to know how to do that skill first. Then the next skill to optimize for is, how do I get 100 good leads? So the AI does help because because also there's two things actually. There's AI in the algorithm and there's AI in that. But also what it does is over time, depending on how you do things, your ads will start to attract the right type of people and only the people that fit kind of what you're aiming for. So that's why you got to give ads a bit of a chance to breathe. But the main thing is not to get sucked into the vanity metric of my cost per lead or how many leads I've got. Yeah. Really, what I'm trying to optimize when I work with somebody or even for ourselves is, how much is it costing me to get a good lead? And that's like that's what takes someone like average marketer to like a good marketer, I think, now in 2025 especially.
100%, 100%. So yeah, that's our roadmap, 4 steps. In today's episode, we've given you, just a little insight into the market right now, some things that have been happening. We're giving you an AI qualification agent breakdown of how to actually build it into your business. And we've given you a 4-step roadmap on how to future-proof your business, right? So we're going to keep every episode packed with value like this. We're going to go into different topics on things that we're doing now, things we're implementing, personal brand content, marketing in general. Boom. Anything you want to finish with?
Nah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
We'll give away all our free guides and stuff in the description. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, don't forget to subscribe and also give it a like as well. The more ratings you give it, the more it spreads out to people. So
that's it.
Peace.
Boom.